Today we are going to do sentences. It's part one of our sentence construction, and it's going to help you to write fantastic essays. I'm Mrs. Celeste Swart, and I'm going to teach you about sentences, what they are made up of, and how you can improve your writing skills. When we think of a sentence, what is a sentence? What constructs a sentence? Words that are strung together that make sense. It has a subject and a finite verb. We all know what a subject is. It usually tells you who or what is doing something. And then it has a verb, a finite verb that says what is being done. But something interesting is you get different types of verbs, and we're going to look at them. So if we look at this sentence, the man runs. Is it a sentence? If you want to know if it's a subject, you ask who or what before the verb. The man runs, we say who runs. Then we know it's the subject, the man runs, and it may be replaced by a pronoun. So instead of the man, what would you say? He. Then we take a subject and a finite verb. Now we all know what the subject is, we know what a verb is. But what is a finite verb? Finite verb is a verb that can stand all on its own. We said the man runs. That's a complete sentence. It doesn't need anything else. It can stand alone. A sentence usually identifies the number that's singular or plural and the tense. Let's quickly look at this sentence. She dances. She tells us she is singular, so it's one. That's the number. Dances tells us it's the present tense. Today she dances. Now the finite verb versus something called an infinitive verb. The infinitive verb is something that cannot stand alone. It has to in front of it. If you look at a sentence like she dances, that would be fine. Then dances would be a finite verb. But if you say she to dance, it doesn't make sense. You can't let it stand on its own. You would have to say she wants to dance, and then wants would be your finite verb and to dance would be your infinitive verb. Please do not split an infinitive verb. You can say she is definitely going to dance tomorrow. An infinitive verb is like a marriage. These two need to stay together. Don't split them up. Don't divorce the couple. Keep them together. To dance must stay together. If you say she is going to definitely dance tomorrow, then you have split up this happy marriage of the infinitive verb, and then it's incorrect. So stay away from that. You can look at other examples. This one that's on the screen at the moment. Once again, an adverb is placed between to and the verb, and that causes the split infinitive. There are four types of sentences that we need to pay attention to are statements, questions, exclamations, and you'll see the large exclamation mark in the brackets, commands or imperatives. When we speak of commands or imperatives, I want you to make sure that you know imperatives, because that's usually how we refer to this as an imperative and not as a command, but it is also a command. And then your exclamation sentence could be a bit confusing, because just because there's an exclamation mark does not mean that it's an exclamation sentence. So let's quickly look at this. We have the statement which supplies information. And guess what? It can use an exclamation mark. For example, we have here, Jim is going to eat. It's giving us information. The questions, this one's actually quite easy. If there's a question mark, it's a question. It asks for information. For example, what is Jim going to do with a question mark? Then we have our exclamations. With the exclamation mark, and an exclamation sentence has to have an exclamation mark. And what does the exclamation sentence do? It expresses emotions, things like surprise, fear, alarm, or anger. For instance, you could say something like, that sentence is offensive. It's expressing emotion of disgust or horror or it could be even surprise, but it's expressing an emotion, and that makes it an exclamation sentence. For the imperatives, they give orders or instructions, and yes, they could have an exclamation mark, but they are giving you an order. So remember, the exclamation sentence expresses emotion, and the imperative gives orders or instructions. And it can also use an exclamation mark. So you get something like, for example, get out of my class. That is an instruction. An exclamation sentence would be something like, get out. But it would have this feeling of disgust, or even add something of horror. The other imperative example here is fetch your book. It's an instruction. Fetch your book. So I really hope that you understand there are these fine nuances where we have exclamations, commands, and statements which you might become confused with. But if you remember that your exclamation sentence expresses emotion, and that your imperative gives orders or instructions, and what does your statement do? It supplies information. If you remember the definitions, you're going to find you will cope very well with what you have to do here. So that's how simple today's lesson is. It's all about the types of sentences. You can click on the link below to complete the exercise and identify the types of sentences. And there are only 4 types, and you have to select the correct one, either with the link or the QR code on the next slide. And I want to wish you good luck with the quiz. I'm looking forward to seeing what your responses are, how you address this. I hope you took notes. It will make it so much easier when you start with the quiz. You'll be able to check the definitions and see if you have found the correct response. Have a wonderful day and keep safe. Thank you.